TNT is an explosive block in Minecraft which has multiple uses. Some of the common ones include clearing space, mining skulk for HP, fighting mobs, in farms, TNT cannons, and of course the favorite, setting traps for other players. In this video, I will cover the basics of TNT, the basics of TNT Minecarts and how they differ from regular TNT, ways to increase the damage done by a TNT minecart, some important differences between Java and Bedrock, fun facts, and creative trap ideas. Let's get started! TNT is crafted with 5 pieces of gunpowder, which you can get from killing creepers, and 4 of either regular or red sand. There are also other ways to obtain it, such as finding it in buried desert temples, or suspicious sand, in shipwrecks, or buried treasure chests. In order for the TNT to work, you need to activate it, and there are 3 main ways to do that. First is anything related to fire, using flint and steel, fire charge, lava, flaming arrows, which you can get with a flame enchanted bow, or when arrows pass through lava. The second option is to activate TNT with a powered redstone signal. A redstone torch, redstone block, button, lever all work, and this includes the TNT block being placed by a dispenser. The third way it can be activated is by another TNT explosion. There is also a 4th rare case, is when TNT is struck by lightning. Once activated, the TNT becomes primed, which means that it's affected by gravity and produces an explosion that destroys the surrounding blocks, and one that can hurt players if they are standing too close. In its primed state, the TNT cannot be moved by players or other mobs, but it can still move in floating lava or water, which is very effective for creating some automated farms. When activated directly, the TNT has a fuse time of 80 game ticks, meaning that it waits for 4 seconds before exploding. When it explodes, the TNT has a blast range of up to 7 blocks, damaging blocks or players inside that 7-block radius. When ignited by another TNT, the behavior of a prime TNT is a bit different. The fuse time becomes shorter and ranges from half a second to 1.5 seconds, and the blast range is random. So if you're creating a chain explosion, make sure to place the TNT at least 3 blocks apart from each other. Here are some interesting properties of the TNT. It can fall up to 77 blocks before exploding. It also does not break any blocks if it explodes in water or lava. Now, the TNT minecart, which is a little different from the TNT block. It is crafted with 1 TNT and a minecart, which in turn is crafted with 5 iron ingots. And once crafted, the TNT and the minecart cannot be separated, even when broken. Unlike TNT, the TNT minecarts are placed on a rail. They are movable, aren't stackable, and will take up quite a bit of space in your inventory. When the TNT minecart passes over a powered activator rail, it explodes after 4 seconds. It does not get activated over a powered rail or a detector rail. So you might think that it's just a fancier, more expensive version of the regular TNT, right? Well, it has an advantage, a big advantage. What makes them different from the regular TNT is that TNT minecarts can explode instantly. Instant explosions take place when the TNT minecart hits the ground after falling for more than 3 blocks, and it doesn't even have to be activated. This feature works both in Java and in Bedrock Edition. It turns a curved track too fast, hitting solid block or entity beside the track. It is hit by a flaming arrow, or it collides with another minecart. And yes, for you Bedrock players, the only option to get an instant explosion is the first one. So, how do you increase the damage done by a minecart? When the TNT minecart is triggered by an activator rail or by damage, it usually explodes with a power of 4. That's on a scale of 1 to 8. For comparison, a charged creeper has an explosion power of 6 and a gassed fireball a power of 1. However, if the minecart is moving at a certain speed, the game can add extra power to the explosion. It does so by multiplying the minecart's speed or velocity by a random number no bigger than 1.5 and adds that to the explosive power of 4. The biggest number it can add is 7.5. Here's an example. If the minecart is traveling at a speed of 5, the power of the explosion will range from 4, which is the regular explosion power, to 11.5, which is 4 plus 7.5. It's all very technical, but in the end it means the faster the speed of the minecart, the bigger the explosion. The explosion is also magnified when the minecart is falling. When it is triggered by fall damage, the fall distance divided by 10 is used. To compare, here's the crater of the fall damage explosion versus regular one. When activated by a flaming arrow, the velocity of the arrow is used instead. In Java Edition, infinite minecarts can be placed on a rail, which truly maximizes the explosion radius. Here's an example of one minecart being exploded versus many minecarts. When done correctly, meaning using some of the above methods, this technique can result in colossal explosions. In Bedrock Edition, this is a little tricky since the minecarts usually push off of each other when placed together, but I have found a way. First, place the tilted activator rail. Other types of rails won't work since the minecarts don't collide in Bedrock. Then, load a dispenser with TNT minecarts and power it to place them on a rail. Unlike the TNT, the minecarts won't get activated when placed by a dispenser. The minecarts end up pretty close to each other. Once you're done placing, give the rail a redstone signal to activate the minecarts. Stand back and watch the magic happen. The size of the explosion from TNT and TNT minecarts also depends on the blast resistance of the block, which is the ability of a block to withstand an explosion. Different blocks have different blast resistance. Some explode easier and some explode a little harder. So here's an example of the explosion done on sand versus terracotta. As you see, the hole made by terracotta is much smaller than by the minecart exploded on the sand. Some TNT blast resistant blocks are bedrock, command blocks, end portal frame, obsidian, reinforced deep slate, anvil, enchantment table, ender chest, and ancient debris, which is why a lot of players choose the explosive technique when mining for it. When it comes to TNT, Java and Bedrock have some differences. Apart from the differences in redstone, which can be used to activate the TNT, an important difference is TNT drops all blocks that it exploded on Java Edition, but on Bedrock, the blocks only have a 25 to 30% chance of dropping. So if you play Bedrock, be cautious when following tutorials for farms that use TNT and are built on Java Edition. On Java, TNT explosions damage players and mobs when it explodes underwater, unlike on Bedrock where it does not. And upon explosion, the minecart does not destroy the rails underneath and the blocks the rail is on if it's on Java Edition. Now it's time for some fun facts. A direct explosion of 4 merged TNT minecarts can reduce a full netherite geared player to just a few hearts. To make a TNT explode underwater, place a block of sand or gravel above it before it is primed. That way, the game thinks it's no longer immersed in water and can destroy the surrounding blocks. It's kinda weird that you can light it underwater. Anyways, TNT cannot be teleported when entering a nether portal, but it does teleport through an end portal, maintaining direction and speed. TNT stands for trinitrotoluene. The use of sand in a crafting recipe and its appearance as a bundle of red sticks is actually a reference to dynamite, which is a different explosive from a TNT. You can light the top of the TNT by sneaking and have it act as a timed explosion. Also, hiding your legs behind blocks drastically reduces the damage you get from the explosion. The TNT explosions do not damage the player on peaceful, unless it's of course fall damage, and the creeper has a TNT inside. So, how about those traps? Before we continue, I just want to say that these traps can be optimized for TNT and TNT minecarts. It's just a matter of preference. I personally like TNT minecarts because they give players no time to react. The first trap on our list uses tripwire hooks. First, you want to find a commonly used area where you know a player will walk. Next, place 2 tripwire hooks opposite of each other and stretch a thread between them. Dig down 2 blocks and 1 block underneath the tripwire hook, and make sure the redstone runs from the block that the tripwire hook is attached to. Place 2 rails and make sure one of the rails is under the tripwire hook. Otherwise, I found that the trap won't work for some reason. Add a couple TNT minecarts from 3 to 5 should be enough, and cover up the area with some blocks. Make sure that the trap can't be seen from both sides. You can cover the area with some grass or some blocks to make it blend in the environment. Now, the trap is ready. For the unsuspecting player who walks by, there's a big surprise in store. Next are observer traps. You can trap a player's bed. To do that, dig down a few blocks, place the observer, and the observer should go first, before the TNT. The observer will detect when the player sleeps on a bed or sets their spawn point, and will send a redstone signal to the TNT below. Cover up the floor, and you're done! Next time your friend decides to skip the night or set their respawn point, they will be blown up. It's even funnier if the spawn is far away from their house because they'll have to find their way back in the middle of the night, surrounded by mobs. That's a bit cruel, isn't it? The same can be done with a furnace. Dig down, place an observer and a furnace on top of it, then follow with some TNT, and the next time someone decides to cook their food, the observer will detect that and set off the trap. Oh, I sincerely apologize. That was the TNT. That was not me. I'll just go now. And the same can also be done with a door, so dig down a few blocks. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to destroy your house. I'll cover it up. I promise. Don't sue me, I'll cover it up. I have to find another place. The villagers are on to me. So, as I was saying, dig down a few blocks, place the observer, place the door on top of the observer, and the TNT goes last. Make sure it goes last. Next time someone opens the door, the TNT will react and it will blow up the house. And now, my favorite, the skulk trap. This trap will require a skulk sensor, which you can get in the deep dark with a silk touch pickaxe. It's a bit risky, but trust me, it's worth it. What you want to do is dig down a few blocks, dig out an area, a 2x2 will work, and then start working on the tunnel. This tunnel will be your exit tunnel because you don't want to set off the skulk sensor while you're making the trap. And I would also suggest covering the floor with wool. The tunnel should be at least 8 blocks long. Place the minecart on a rail and make sure that there's at least 1 block in front of the minecart so that it has something to hit. Cover up the top and place the skulk sensor. Once you're done, just sneak out quietly and cover up the rest of the hole. This trap is perfect because it goes off instantly, it can be placed literally anywhere, and you can't even tell that it's there. Unfortunately, there is a small problem with this trap as any random animal can set it off. So, if you want to avoid that, I also suggest grabbing a skulk shrieker from the deep dark. To make this new and improved trap, just dig down a few blocks, mine out an area of 3x4, and of course make the tunnel, cover the floor with wool, and make sure it's at least 8 blocks long. You want to start by placing a skulk shrieker and then an observer to face it so that it can detect when the shrieker goes off. Then, add a redstone repeater at 4 ticks facing out from the observer. Place a rail directly after the repeater and break a block so that the minecarts can collide with something. Place down as many minecarts as you want and a block there so that they don't go into the wrong direction. Now, again, make sure you cover up the top before placing the skulk sensor, otherwise you'll blow up. And then the skulk sensor right next to the shrieker. Make your escape and wait for the chaos to happen. As you can see right here, the trap doesn't react to the sheep at all. But if it's a player, they're doomed. So here you go, now you're officially a TNT Pro. Thanks for watching. Let me know if I missed some important information down in the comments and I will make sure to pin it. Give a thumbs up to this video if you enjoyed and make sure to subscribe for some more great content. But for now, bye!